Good morning to you and welcome. I'm so glad to spend this time in the morning. It sets a pattern for my day, you know. It's been an amazing journey through lockdown with you, sharing some of the most precious things to me in the scriptures. And now you'll have to follow my very strange mind in its reasoning this morning. I'm not in Luke today. I'm looking at a verse that was on my mind as I woke up. I started this morning thinking what a blessing it is to have an idea of what you're going to do in a day. It's really helped me through these last few days that have been quite tough for me. The thought of less freedom and more restrictions, and our little group not being able to meet together safely, and puzzling over the differences in the rules for different sorts of groups. Because anyway, my mind went to thinking about what a benefit I find to have an idea of what to do in a day, to have a list, if not a written list, a sort of mental list, which keeps me motivated to think, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do the other. And yesterday I achieved everything on my mental list. I didn't do them in the order I thought I'd do them in, but I did achieve all of them, even to peeling and cooking some more of those apples. We have so many apples. It's such a blessing, but it's hard work peeling them all. But there we are. So I don't know if lists help you, but my mind went from there to thinking, I wonder if the Lord Jesus had a list of things that he knew were going to happen before he would come to the major work of his life in that last week when he knew that time was running out. Did he have a list of things that he was waiting to happen or that he was going to do? I don't know. I don't know if you think about how the Lord's mind worked. I don't know. But he knew his Old Testament extremely well. He often quoted it. And most of his teaching is based on verses in the Old Testament. And it's wonderful when you're reading the Old Testament to suddenly come across something that you think Jesus said, but actually it's written in the Old Testament. So I was thinking about lists, and suddenly into my mind popped one of the strangest little things, I think, which the gospel writers do not explain. I don't know if you have a curious mind. It's good to develop a curious mind, that when you read the scriptures, however familiar they are, try to read them fresh and read them. And if something happens that seems out of place or odd, or you find yourself saying, well, why did Jesus go there? You know, here he is on a successful ministry in Capernaum, and suddenly he goes off to Caesarea Philippi. Why does he do that? Where is this place? What is this all about? Ask questions, because when you ask questions, there's great revelation that comes as a result of asking those questions. And this is something I discovered about a couple of verses in John's Gospel. It's in John chapter 12, verse 20. And I'll read it now. Among those who went up to worship at the feast were some Greeks. So these came to Philip, who was from Bethsaida in Galilee, and said to him, Sir, we wish to see Jesus. Philip went and told Andrew. Andrew went with Philip, and they told Jesus. And Jesus answered them, The hour has come for the Son of Man is to be glorified, or for the Son of Man to be glorified. And he goes on then to say, Truly, truly, I say to you, unless a grain of wheat falls into the earth and dies, it remains alone. But if it dies, it bears much fruit. And he was talking about his own death there. But it's a very strange little incident. Here they are. We've had the triumphal entry, which we were talking about yesterday. And we're into the last week. And suddenly, out of nowhere, people who'd come to worship at the feast were some non-Jews, some Greeks, some people from Greece were in Jerusalem for the worship. They obviously must have been what are called proselytes, people who took up the Jewish religion because they liked it and they liked its values and its thoughts. They couldn't become Jews because to be a Jew you had to be born into the Jewish nation, but they were worshippers of God, and they were there in Jerusalem, and they come to Philip, who then tells Andrew, and they both go and tell Jesus, and they say, there are some Greeks here, and they've asked, sir, they asked me, we wish to see Jesus. They'd heard about Jesus. They wanted to meet Jesus. Now, it doesn't say anywhere that he actually met them, but the fact that they came made Jesus say, the hour has come for the Son of Man to be glorified. Now, what was it? What was it about the Greeks coming to Jesus that made him say, that's it? That's it. That's the last thing. I felt like he said, that's the last thing on my list of things that has to happen. Now it's all done. It's simply a countdown now to the end. The last thing on my list is ticked off. And it was only when I was really studying Isaiah a few years ago for a series of talks I was doing that I realized that Jesus was seeing the fact that nations had come to him, that people from a different nation, you think they had come to him. In other places, he went to them. He went to see a widow and help her, and but these men had come to find Jesus, and they were not Jews. And it made me think of verses like Isaiah 60, verse 3, which says, and nations shall come to your light, and kings to the brightness of your rising. Well, the second half of that verse, I think, relates to the nativity. And the sign, one of the signs that the Messiah had come, was that kings would come when he arrived. And they did. But the nation shall come to your light, and there's a hint of it again in Isaiah 49:6. And of course in the Nunc Dimittis, in Luke 2:32, it says about nations coming to know about Jesus and having salvation through him. But I think it was that verse in Isaiah, nations shall come to your light, the rising, arise, shine, your light has come. And these Greeks coming and asking to see him reminded Jesus of the verse, and he was fulfilling that very verse. That very verse was fulfilled in these nations, these Gentiles, these people from another nation who came looking for Jesus. And he saw it as another fulfillment of another verse on his tick list of the things that he had to fulfill before the end came and before he accomplished all that God had set him to do. So I don't know if you use lists, but I do find lists very motivating. Ask God what he'd like you to do today. See what comes up on your to-do list, and have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.